Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, April 20th, and thank you for joining us for this month's edition of HCC Lifestyle and Culture. I am Andrea Bonner, and today I'm joined by one of my favorite people, Cheryl Whitaker, who is the Program Coordinator for Fashion Merchandising for the Consumer Arts and Sciences Division. Cheryl is going to tell us how our viewers, she's going to tell our viewers how to find us today on social media.
Hi, Andrea. Thanks for having me on your amazing show.
Sure.
All of our viewers can find us on our Instagram page, which is HCC Fashion School, on Instagram.
Great. And I heard a couple dings, so I was making sure that we were out of everything. So today we are going to talk about fashion technology. I know that's one of your favorite subjects, and it's becoming one of mine. So we're going to also spotlight design and merchandising and kind of what we're doing in both of those areas as far as technology is concerned. So in the past, we're going to jump right in. So in the past, when we've heard the term artificial intelligence, I can remember, hearing that term growing up, sci-fi and all of those things. It seemed like something out of the science fiction movie or something like that, but that's not the case anymore. So Cheryl, I follow you on social media, and I know that you do a lot with AI and fashion. So first, tell us what artificial intelligence is.
So sure. So in a nutshell, AI is basically the simulation of human intelligence, and it's done by machines. And so basically, machines and computer programs are configured to basically mimic our intelligence. Sounds creepy, but and actually, every day there's like 100 news articles going around about it and all through the news cycles. And so it appears like, or it feels like AI is relatively new, but it's actually been around since the 50s. It was actually developed at Dartmouth College at a workshop. But currently there's a whole lot of talk because of all these new applications that have come out, and they're pretty exciting.
It is pretty exciting. I know, when I'm around your office, I hear the talk and I dibble and dabble, not as much as you, of course, but thank you for telling us about that. Again, as I said, I heard that years ago in science fiction movies. So it's like artificial intelligence. Oh my God, they're taking over. But your explanation makes it sound a little bit more palatable for everybody. So during COVID, we were unable to have our usual fashion shows. So tell us, what did you do to maintain that continuity in our instruction and still allow our students the opportunity to showcase their amazing designs?
Sure. So during COVID, specifically the summer of 20, we were faced with, let me step back. Because of COVID, we couldn't have our traditional spring fashion show, and we were really saddened by that because students really look forward to it. It's a great time for them to bring their family and friends around to see all the hard work they've been doing. And so we were trying to figure it all out in the summer, just like the whole world was trying to figure out how we were going to make it and what was going to happen. But for us, we wanted to still showcase student work. And so the only tool really that could do that would be exploring what kind of technology we could use. And so for that, we were able to come up with an immersive space and create a digital fashion show. That was our first ever. We learned a lot of lessons. Our students were able to learn about 3D technology and creating 3D images and immersive spaces. And so that was our way to really develop or create a space for students to showcase their work in an unusual situation. But it has also led to quite a few other projects and collaborations with the XR Lab team, which has been amazing for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, you worked with Ruben Duran and Lyndon and Matthew and all of the guys over in the XR Lab. So they've become our little or big brothers, one or the other, a little of both. So we've enjoyed collaborating with them. And as you said, we've learned a lot. And during that time, you know, your fashion show was, you know, here at HCC, but as you remember, we were on social media and we started seeing these fashion shows all over the globe that were these virtual fashion shows with virtual models and all that. So we were mimicking what they were doing in the industry,
Absolutely.
which is really amazing. So kudos to you and our team that helped pull that off. So in some ways, COVID will forever change the way we do things. So how are we still using AI in our program? So there's two-part question. I'll ask you that part, then we'll come back to the next.
Sure. So AI, so to answer your question, how we're still using it, we are still exploring immersive spaces, because the other part of that on the merchandising side, as well as on the design side, that technology and the lessons we learned when we were in the unfortunate pandemic phase of being locked down, the fashion industry as a whole learned quite a few lessons in how to really embrace technology, because that industry has been extremely slow to embrace technology and all the possibilities. But now we're seeing designers moving into these immersive spaces, and they're showing up in places like Roblox, which my students found that to be funny the other week when we were discussing it. You know, what most people don't understand, the fashion industry is extremely focused on Gen Z and Gen Alpha. That is that next customer demographic they're focused on. And so with that, they have to understand, and it's something I drill into my students about understanding customer demographics. They have to understand where they hang out. And so these groups are hanging out in these immersive spaces. So now we see brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Gucci, Burberry, several others, all showing up in these immersive spaces to woo that Gen Z, Gen Alpha dollar. So that's one of the main things that has happened within the industry.
Yeah, that's important. That whole figuring out who is your customer and how are they shopping, how are they spending their time, because you could be pitching something to, you know, my Gen Z and that Gen X or whatever Alpha, which I've never heard of before, you just enlighten me to something. They're like, what is this? This is for old folks.
Yeah.
Like, this is not interesting to me. And they're going to completely miss that target. So thank you for, you know, saying that, because that's very, very true, that we've always, you know, got to figure out who our customer is. So, so the second part of that question is, do you feel as though, and this has been coming up, you know, in some of our chats with fellow professors, around other creative spaces that we're in, do you feel as though AI is cheating artists or creatives or other intellectuals who come up with their own concepts, their own artwork, their own designs? Do you feel as though it's cheating?
So with the AI component, you know personally that I'm a bit obsessed with it. So what I've been doing in fashion merchandising courses is introducing it for the purpose of concept development. And I'm using generative AI. So that's where you're using text to image. And so for us, that's been a great tool specifically for concept development, because on the merchandising and design side, students will always be tasked with coming up with an idea, with a concept. And so typically you'll Google and you'll do Pinterest boards and that sort of thing, and they're great and they're effective. But you know, it's always good to keep students on topic with current things such as AI. So we've been using it for concept development. Now, on the flip side of that, and I love it for that purpose. On the flip side of that, when it comes to the chat GPTs of the world, I will tell you, I personally love it, but I would not introduce it to my students. And I'll tell you why. That sounds bad, but the reason I wouldn't, because in all of these, including with art, the generative AI, art and things like that, I still believe you need to learn traditional methods. So if you're an artist, if you're a fashion design illustrator, you still need to know the traditional methods.
Right.
You still need to know how to draw croquis. You still need to know how to do research. You still need to know those basic techniques so that you understand what a composition looks like. As much as I love technology, I still think you need to be grounded and have a good foundation. As far as writing, you need to know how to do your research. I'm of that generation that had to go to the library and had to know what a card catalog was. And your family was proud to have a whole set of encyclopedias.
Encyclopedias. Yes.
So this generation misses all of that because we have things as like Google. And so the thing about Chat GPT that most students probably don't consider is still in beta testing. It is not 100% accurate. And so my concern becomes, are students going to verify the information? The other thing about all of this is that people also don't consider is when a new technology comes out, there's always a big concern about whether or not it's going to eliminate jobs. Some of it will, but for the most part, it creates new jobs. And so in the instance of Chat GPT, and I'll go back a step. And when I mentioned we were in beta testing, or Chat GPT was in beta testing, just a little tech talk. So when a company comes out with a product,
I think we're going to have to, I think we're almost out of time on that. Maybe we can come back to that on our second segment.
Sure, okay.
So thank you, Cheryl. That's going to take us to our next segment where we're going to talk a little bit more about technology on the merchandising side. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back, everyone. Thank you.
Sometimes what you need just shows up. Houston Community College has your back, whether you're knocking out some basics or upping your game for a better job. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Well, we are back. We got so excited with our last talk that we were just, because we can talk about this all day, and we'll probably have to come back with part 2 next time. But we're back with Professor Whitaker, who is our program coordinator for fashion merchandising for consumer arts and sciences. And Cheryl, as she was finishing up, she was just kind of talking about, AI, is it taking over jobs? Is it considered cheating? All those things. So I just see AI as a value added to what our creatives are already doing. It's not to take over. And as she said, yes, it may take a few jobs, but it's creating a lot of new jobs in the fashion industry. So, we'll talk a little bit, hopefully more about that. But we call you our resident fashion technologist, Cheryl. But even before COVID, you introduced some other softwares to the department, one called Mock Shop. Tell us a little bit about that and how it's being used in the department and in general.
Sure. So Mock Shop is used for visual merchandising and store planning. And basically what that does is it's an industry specific software where specifically for retailers that have multi-unit stores. One of the things that's important in retail is to create a customer experience, no matter if I'm in the store in the Galleria versus a store in some other state or city or state. And the way that you do that is by using a planning application. Now, Mock Shop allows students to not only learn about store planning and merchandising, or I lost my train of thought, store planning and inventory, sorry. But they're able to learn the whole process and create 3D mock-ups and learn the importance of having a good balance of products, but also developing a concept and then being able to create visual and store planning directives that spread across several retailers.
Great. Well, you've certainly elevated the curriculum by introducing this technology, and it's technology that's being used at all the big schools, FIT, FITM, SCAD, my school, LIM, put my plug in, all of those schools. So thank you for that. So you and I have talked about when I would come to Houston every summer, I loved going to the Galleria. I'm a big mall person. I like to just walk, but now they've got these digital shopping malls that I've seen. So tell us a little bit about the digital shopping mall. And actually, I like all malls. But tell us about the digital mall.
Same. So that's become really important and become more of a guiding force since COVID. The thing we were talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha in the previous segment, they're not coming to the mall. That's not their thing. They're probably one of the first generations to mall shopping is not their thing. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, digital shopping has come up. That's why you're seeing these brands like Gucci Town. Gucci Town is in Roblox, and you're seeing them pop up in all these gaming areas because that's where that generation hangs out. They're not driven to the mall. So that's how we've come up with more digital malls. Mm-hmm. But that also creates new job categories for our students. If you learn how to create immersive spaces, that gives you a skill set to go out and create your own digital shops.
Yeah, I love that you say additional jobs, because generally when they get the concept of being a fashion designer. When we say merchandising, they're like, oh, you're going to go work at the mall. But these are some merchandising jobs. I always say, you and I both know merchandising is the business side of fashion. So these have created a whole new subset of jobs that our students, and we're training them at HCC, little old HCC, how to go out and do that so they can compete. Absolutely. So the introduction of technology is opening up a lot of opportunities for them. So and you kind of touched on this a little bit before, but maybe you can go into this a little bit more. Do you think that AI will ever replace human effort? Yes or no?
I don't, because you need the human to create the AI, because it's constantly mimicking our behavior, but you've got to have some human interaction for it to work off of. And again, it's not perfect. It's still in beta testing. And that's where people sort of get confused. I'll give you a quick example. I see we've got a couple of minutes. Our students who are submitting their work in Canvas, you submit it, we have a plagiarism checker. That plagiarism checker has now expanded to include AI generated text. So, as much as we move forward and we create new jobs, we're not going to make it easy for you to cheat.
Yeah. Say it again.
Exactly. So, and quick example, I had one student who tried it, and the plagiarism checker came back and said it was 85% AI generated.
Ooh.
So yeah, as much as we move forward, there's also technology coming forward to fact check and make sure that we're still learning.
Great. Well, I appreciate you, Cheryl, and all that you've shared. And as we told our producers earlier, we could talk about this all day, but we don't have all day. We just got a little bit of time. So I appreciate Cheryl Whitaker, who is our Fashion Merchandising Program Coordinator for Consumer Arts and Sciences. We have a little bit more information about the program after your show. After we finish, and we're going to take a really quick break again, and we'll come back to Cheryl and myself, and we're going to tell you about some fun announcements that we've got and some great things we've got going on within our department coming up soon. So Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to see you in a couple minutes when I round the corner to meet you for lunch. We're in the same building today.
Taco Thursday.
Taco Thursday. So we'll see you shortly.
All right. Thank you.
What does moving forward look like? Houston Community College has hundreds of choices, small class sizes, and personalized support to help you do just that. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
For more than a year, we have kept you informed with more than 500 remote episodes. But now we're back, bigger and better with more news and more guests. Join us live every weekday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and on HCC TV at noon and 5 p.m. You can watch from anywhere. We go where you go.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But I get it, you're busy, and busy people can't have prediabetes. I read that wrong. They can, okay? Just go to the site.
All right, everyone. Well, we've got some exciting news, events, and announcements from the fashion department. We've always got some great things going on. First up, kudos to our students who always win big in Dallas at the Fashion Group International Career Day. They just went up last Friday, and per usual, they did an amazing job. They won in categories like our digital store planning, little black dress. We had Maria Hammond, who was our big winner, who won the Fashion Excellence Award, Dr. Maria Hammond. She'll hate me for saying that, but she did amazing. So we are so excited about our students who always do well and win competitions. So next up, Cheryl is going to tell us a little bit about a show, her big student show coming up on May 5th. Cheryl, tell us about that.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity to share about our spring collections fashion show. So each year we have, each semester, fall and spring rather, we recognize our fashion design students for their amazing collections. And this spring show's coming up on May 5th. Doors open at 6:30, show starts at 7:30. It'll be right here on Central Campus, sorry about that. It'll be here at Central Campus and in the William Harmon building.
Great. I'm excited because now I get to attend. I don't have to do the show like I used to do in the past. So I get to attend and watch the student collection. So we're looking forward to that. Another big thing that we always have coming up, and people just were messaging me this week about it, is Fashion Fusion. It's our partnership with the Museum of Fine Arts Houston. We just had it this past fall, and we've already got our date for this year. It is Thursday, December 14th. Tickets are not on sale yet, people, so don't start calling the museum and asking about tickets. They'll go on sale probably sometime in November, but we are excited to once again partner with the Museum of Fine Arts. We have a memorandum of understanding with them for some years, and we've enjoyed that. So we look forward to seeing you on December 14th for our next Fashion Fusion. So Cheryl, tell us a little bit about, we're excited because, you know, we go nonstop all year long. We've got summer and fall registration open.
Yeah, so this, we've got fashion merchandising courses and design courses for our our summer session. And then of course, we've got fall coming up. That's also open, I believe. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? I believe that one's open. I'm sure it is. Mm-hmm. So we've got a lot of great things going on in our department, and we're always looking forward to welcoming in new students into our programs.
Yes, and students can take classes online. They can take them online anytime, online on a schedule. We've got hybrid classes, in person, all of the above. So we are excited to have you. As Cheryl said, registration is open now. So to learn more about our HCC programs, our start dates and options to cover costs, you can go to hccs.edu /apply. So we'll be back in a couple of months on the second Thursday with more HCC lifestyle and culture news and information you can use. So until then, sign up for those classes. And if you have any questions about any of our programs, including fashion design, fashion merchandising, culinary, cosmetology, and hospitality, we look forward to giving you that information. So thank you, Cheryl Whitaker, Program Coordinator for Fashion Merchandising. We'll have more information about our program after the show. And thanks everybody for joining us. Have a great day.